Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today we are unpacking an absolutely fascinating shift in how businesses are connecting with their audiences online. Look, for years, building a digital community has basically meant renting space on someone else's land. You pour immense resources into platforms where, at the end of the day, you don't even own the final asset. But today, we're looking at a complete paradigm shift. We are talking about the move from renting digital space to finally owning your very own sovereign digital ecosystem. Now, if you've been managing a brand on legacy Web2 platforms, you know this pain all too well. 5%. Yeah, just 5%. That is the abysmal reality of organic reach today. You spend all this time and energy building an audience, and then the platforms just decide to hide your content from 95% of them unless you pay the toll, what they so lovingly like to call boost budgets. Section 1, the rented land trap, destroying the illusion of audience building. So what are the systemic risks of this whole rented model? Well, they're huge. First off, you have algorithmic gatekeepers actively suppressing your reach. They decide who sees what. Second, zero data sovereignty. Thanks to privacy regulations and the whole death of the cookie, big tech monopolies are essentially hoarding the basic customer data that rightfully belongs in your CRM. And finally, competitor proximity. Think about it. Rented feeds are fundamentally hostile environments. Algorithms will frequently place a direct competitor's ad right next to your carefully crafted educational content. It's crazy. And man, it gets worse when you look at the user journey. By forcing your users to constantly hop around, from an Instagram post over to a link in bio, then out to an external website, over to a newsletter signup, and finally into a Discord server, you are introducing massive friction. The result is pure funnel leakage. You're literally losing up to 50% of your audience at every single stage of that fragmented journey. Moving on to Section 2. Enter the Web4 paradigm, dissolving the barriers. Okay, so the foundation of this massive shift is something called SNAS, or Social Network as a Service. Through Web4 Studio, SNAS acts as this frictionless savior. It shifts control right back to businesses by eliminating all those fragmented, leaky tools we just talked about. Instead, you deploy a single, centralized, highly modular community hub, and it's tailored perfectly to your specific corporate identity. But here is what is truly mind-blowing: the sheer speed of this technology. What historically required hundreds of thousands of dollars and months upon months of agonizingly complex development can now be deployed as a fully functional white-label super app in under 30 seconds. 30 seconds! And the whole thing is done via a single AI prompt. That is just a staggering leap forward in efficiency. When we contrast the old, broken way with this new approach, the differences are practically night and day. You move from rented feeds directly into owned ecosystems, from zero data sovereignty to pure first-party data. But most importantly, you move from algorithmic suppression to 100% unfiltered direct reach. By totally removing the middleman, the delivery of your critical news or product launches is guaranteed through chronological feeds or direct push notifications. Your marketing transitions from a total guessing game into a plannable, predictable revenue engine. Section 3. Pure first-party data mastery. The operational benefits of ownership. Now, owning your platform means you capture pure first-party data, sure, but utilizing it is where the real magic happens. Web4 Studio has this integrated AI network chat that completely replaces the need for expensive data science teams. You just use everyday natural language. Take these 3 practical examples. First, you can simply ask the AI to identify your most active, loyal brand advocates over the past year, and boom, it instantly gives you a list with contact details. Second, instead of trusting some opaque ad algorithm, you can literally query the system for users who recently used words like buy or price, instantly targeting hot leads. And third, you can ask the AI to flag accounts that have been inactive for 30 days, allowing you to instantly trigger automated re-engagement workflows to stop churn dead in its tracks. This whole idea is captured perfectly in one of my favorite quotes about this. It becomes a digital flagship store rather than a rented booth at a noisy carnival. I mean, doesn't that just hit the nail on the head? This perfectly anchors the concept of absolute brand safety. In your own ecosystem, you command 100% share of voice. Because inside this digital flagship store, you have a rock-solid brand safety guarantee. There are no competing side banner ads stealing your hard-earned conversions. There are no political distractions or algorithmically driven outrage bait to alienate your customers. Furthermore, Integrated Web4 AI moderation automatically filters out spam and toxic content in real time. You get to maintain a perfectly secure space without having to pay a massive manual oversight team to monitor the thing 24/7. Which brings us to Section 4, the radical cost reduction. Sovereign platform economics. Let's actually run the numbers. Say you're a brand with 1 million followers and you post 100 times a year. Under the Web2 rented status quo, organic reach gets you to maybe 50,000 people. To reach the other 95% of your own earned followers using a conservative $10 CPM ad spend, well, that costs you about $9,500 per post. Meanwhile, Web4 provides direct delivery. That is 100% reach with absolutely zero reactivation ad spend, and it operates at a tiny infrastructure cost of just 1 cent per user per month. And here is the climax of this whole data drama. When you multiply that Web2 ad spend out over an entire year, it snowballs into an absolutely absurd annual operational expense of 950,000 euros. Look at how that completely dwarfs the Web4 Studio cost, which sits totally flat at an annual infrastructure cost of just 10,000 euros. Which leads us to a massive plot twist for your budget. 940,000 euros. That is the exact amount of entirely wasted budget that is instantly freed up. Think about it. That is nearly €1 million you can now redirect into actual productive marketing instead of just paying over and over again to speak to the audience you already earned. Section 5. Your sovereign digital ecosystem. Permanent, future-proof homes for brands. Web4 Studio is engineered from the ground up for continuous growth. The modular framework allows for incredible deep customization. For instance, you get what's called vibe coding, which basically means you can use natural language AI prompts to instantly change your brand's UI and overall look without writing code. You also get extensible mini-app SDKs. This means you can easily snap on third-party extensions to build out micro-ecosystems, featuring things like courses, live streams, and loyalty perks. And crucially, it offers decentralized sovereignty. Since it's built on the Web4 standard, it utilizes UIUD or self-sovereign identity. In simple terms, this ensures your user data stays totally independent of legacy cloud monopolies and their constantly changing rules.
By unifying your content, your messaging, your utility, and your user interactions all into one highly polished space, you completely eliminate that fragmentation that's breaking the modern customer journey. Your customers don't just consume your product anymore, they literally inhabit your brand's digital ecosystem. Which leaves us with one incredibly important question to consider today. Are you ready to stop renting your audience and start owning your ecosystem? Just think about what your brand could achieve with true sovereignty. Thanks so much for joining me on today's Explainer, and I'll see you next time.